Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Bipashapa and Yashbirji, for setting the scene, or I can say warming up, so that we can go forward. I hope you have enjoying our MKF. Like, we had been here for 2 days and kind of learning so many things. So now I would like to start our thematic plenary 3, which is about youth gender inclusion in the conservation of the Meghna Basin. So I'm Mohammad Tariq Aziz from IUCN Bangladesh, and it's my pleasure to guide you through today's session focused on youth and gender perspective in water and river governance. So basically now, in this session, we're gonna kind of amplify the voices of youth and women in the management of rivers and freshwater ecosystems in the Barak-Meghna Basin. So we're gonna discuss priority areas for gender and youth inclusion and explore how to sustain the Meghna Knowledge Forum as a youth-led multi-stakeholder engagement strategy. So regarding the session structure, we will begin with opening remarks from our chair, and we have 2 presentations and set the scene for our discussion, followed by a panel with diverse voices from community leaders, youth, and development professionals. So let me begin with our by introducing our chair, Ms. Donna McKinsey, sorry for the pronunciation, is the regional program manager for Oxfam in Asia, with over 2 decades of leadership in gender equality, climate justice, and civil society strengthening. She has held senior roles with IWDA, IFRC, and Australian Red Cross across Asia and the Pacific. So Donna, if you just come in on the stage. Now I'd like to welcome our co-chair, Mr. Saqib Ahmed, Assistant Chief, Environment and Ecology, National River Conservation Commission, Bangladesh, and Mr. Mahmoud is actively engaged in national river conservation, national river governance, and ecosystem conservation strategies. Mr. Saqib, welcome you to the dais. Please come on. To begin, I now invite Ms. Donna to offer her opening remarks and set the tone of the sessions for 5 minutes.
Tarek, and good morning, everyone. Are you out there? Wave, yes, hello, great, thank you. So welcome, Meghna friends, as Dr. Adindo so beautifully named us in his opening remarks. I want us to hold that identity throughout this session. Being a friend of Meghna is not just symbolic. It's a commitment to act in solidarity with the river, with one another, and with those whose lives are intertwined with these waters, and that we've heard so much about over the last 2 days. This session is on youth and gender inclusion in the conservation of the Meghna Basin. It's not just timely, it is urgent. Again, we've heard so much about the climate crisis over the last few days. As we confront the climate crisis, we must also confront the systems that caused it. Patriarchal, colonial, and profit-driven models that have plundered ecosystems, erased Indigenous knowledge, and excluded those who are most affected. I would like to begin with a heartfelt apology to young people. It is my generation that has contributed the most to the crisis we face, sometimes through ignorance, but too often through willful disregard. We have prioritised short-term profits for a few over the well-being of many. We have known better, but failed to do better. You are the last generation now that can reverse our mistakes and prevent further damage. And we look to you for inspiration and for action. Many of us in this room are not youth, but we were once, and we are your allies and supporters going forward. As we have seen from the Youth for Meghna across this basin and this region, young people are leading with clarity, courage, and imagination. Remember our game on day one. Young people are not only demanding justice, but you are showing us how to build it. We must also honour the central role of Indigenous communities, whose relationships with land, water and forest is not based on extraction, but care, reverence and reciprocity. Indigenous women in particular carry generations of ecological knowledge and cultural wisdom. They are the healers, seed keepers and stewards of biodiversity. Through oral tradition, ceremony and practice, they pass this knowledge on, not just for survival, but for the thriving of entire communities. Yesterday, Mr. Tapas from BRAC highlighted the role of taboos, religion and customs in conservation values, and I also found that a very fascinating session, as noted in the review this morning. Also, as Vishwa noted yesterday, nature-based solutions, so often celebrated in these policy spaces, are not new. They are grounded in Indigenous ways of knowing and being. But these approaches are rarely resourced or respected in the same way as technical or top-down interventions. We cannot forget the spiritual power of rivers. The Meghna is not just a source of water or livelihoods, it is a living being, a carrier of memory, identity, and sacred connection. As Her Excellency Kazi asked, is it we who will save the river or the river that will save us? The question challenges us to rethink our role and to be as managers of nature, but to be part of the ecosystem. As Ms. Saida also said, rivers have rights. In my close neighbours, New Zealand, Parliament has given the Wanganu River legal personhood. Yesterday, on the first day, our Regional Director, John Samuel, also reminded us that 50 million lives are tied to the Meghna system. He shared the story of Salha Chachi, who turned profound personal loss into collective strength, transforming her own life and also the future of her community. Her story is a testament to the individual power of resilience and the unstoppable force of collective action. So as we engage in this session, I urge you to go beyond inclusion as a goal and move towards shifting power. This means listening and resourcing young people, Indigenous communities and women, not as beneficiaries, but as leaders. Let us now act and hear those stories from those who are doing the work now. Our panel will tell the stories of their challenges and work based on real life in real time. So I'm going to get you to do a controversial action. Practice this, do this. All right, now do that with your laptops and close them. Close the laptops. It's a simple motion, you can all do it. Close the laptops. Turn the phones over so those notifications are not jumping up and bothering you. Let us focus with people in the room because we so rarely have that opportunity. Up. Turn it down.
Thank you, Donna, for your beautiful remarks. And you are rightly said about the importance of our youth and gender inclusion in our conservation sector. Basically, we have been working so hard to involve them in our agenda, but still it's not sufficient. We need more to give more importance to them and have to include them in our works and conservation efforts. Now, now I'd like to request our first presenter, Dr. Purnima Devi Burman, founder of the Hargila Foundation, Hargila Army, for her presentation on community engagement in forest and wetland ecosystems. Dr. Purnima Devi Burman is a UNEP Champion of the Earth 2022, the UN highest environmental honor. She also received the Nari Shakti Puruskar, India's highest civilian award for women conferred by the President of India. She also mobilized over 20,000 women into the Hargila Army. So now I'd like to request Dr. Purnima Devi to come and present her presentation on community engagement in forest and wetland ecosystems.
Hello, good morning everyone and namaskar. I'm so honored and thrilled to be here. Thank you so much IUCN for inviting me here and making me a part of this, and I'm so happy to meet all of you. Although I was introduced as Purnima, so I want to share with pride that I come here not as Purnima. So please forget my name forever. I come here as the Hargila bird, the greater adjutant stork, one of the rarest species of storks in the world. And I would like to show you the Hargila bird in a different way. I think you can find Hargila bird in me, right? So, if you see the Hargila bird in my village, made by all our women, Hargila Army. So this is, yeah. Can you see the Hargila bird in my dress, Assamese traditional Mekhela Sadar? Yeah. So made by all our women, community women. And you can see the Hargila bird in my ear, right? And in my neck also, in my necklace, and in my soul, in my heart. And I want to spread this love of the Hargila bird and nature with all of you. And we all can soar together for the cause, right? So thank you so much. And once again, I would love to request Mr. Tariq to help me. Please don't mind. So, yeah. So I can't resist myself when I see all of you, and especially youths for Meghna. So I would like to do an exercise with all of you to cheer up and for the youths for Meghna and for all of us, for the planet, for IUCN. So let's give a hymn. So please, are you ready to join me in the exercise? Yeah. So then you have to imagine yourself as the Hargila bird in the tall tree, right? You are at the top of the tree, and now please use your hands like this. Yeah, so use your hands like this and join me please. Tak, tak, tak. Tak, tak, tak. Once more. Tak, tak, tak. Tak, tak, tak. Now please say fast with me. Tak, 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 tak. Please say fast with me. Tak, 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 tak. Thank you so much once again, everyone. So can you please connect with the optimism and the Hargila bird, right? Okay, thank you so much. Okay, you can keep. And thank you so much, Mr. Tariq, for helping me. So today I would like to share the story of Assam, story of love, and story of our power of people, power of communities, how our communities can transform a bad omen to a cultural icon. And so you can see all our women from the village. They are inviting you to our villages in Assam. And so a little bit about the Hargila bird, and I want to mention that although I am sharing our journey of the Hargila bird, but yes, I want to give a strong message for all the species of our Meghna Basin, Barak-Meghna Basin, for all the species which are lesser known. So we have to work for every species. So I want to give a strong message, strong voice for all the species here. So Hargila was when I started my work. It was so there were about 450 birds in Assam. And I'm very proud that now we have, with the support of our communities, we have more than 1,800 birds in Assam. And thank you so much. And when I started my work, this bird was often persecuted or poisoned. And I would love to tell you a story how it happened, like how it changed my life. And I was studying my PhD in 2007. And at that time, I was also a new mother of my twin daughters. And I think I have 2 Hargila at my home also. You can see them also. Yeah. So, and I was a new mother. And one day I got a call from a person. And I was there in the village, and I saw a man cutting down a huge nesting tree which was hosting 9 nests, and all the baby birds fell down. And when I confronted with the person told that this bird is a bad omen, it doesn't need to live. And the moment they said this, I think the motherly instinct fired up, and it ignited me, like how somebody can tell Hargila as bad omen or disease carrier. And I just paused my PhD at that moment, and from that day, my mission started to save Hargila, and more I started visiting people and the villages. I found that trees, once the Hargila bird come and select a tree for breeding, the tree become vulnerable. People just cut down the trees. So we have to work with communities. There was lack of awareness. This way, my mission started to change the perception about the bird. Only the dream to change the perception of the bird all the time, to work with different stakeholders, with the nest tree owners, communities. And most of the time, I found that our women's participation was so less, and they also thought that this tree belonged to my man at the home, so they didn't like to come to my meeting all the time. They laughed at me, and when I asked them, they told that we have to cook for our husband, for our children, we can't come. So I got a solution from them, and I started organizing cooking competitions or cooking festival for our women, for our communities, and trust me, they started coming like anything. And this way, our Hargila army, the movement started, and we started playing Wave of Life, which is about interconnectedness. I realized that we don't need to, if we understand only about the Hargila, it will not work. We have to learn the importance of every species. And this way, our women started coming like anything. We befriended with them. And yes, now I invite all of you to Assam. Have you ever visited or attended a baby shower of a wildlife or a bird? So if not, please come and visit us in next October or November and join us in the baby shower of Hargila. Yes, we celebrate baby shower of Hargila in Assam like the way we do for our Assamese expectant mothers. And our women here, we don't need to tell them, do not cut down the trees. Once we celebrate the baby shower, so our women get so emotionally sensitized, and baby shower is such a spiritual movement. We do it every day. Here also I would like to celebrate, and maybe our women will join through a video call. So our women are excited all the time to celebrate the bird, and the motherhood. Yes, now I want to share that we...
2 more minutes, please, Doctor.
Sorry?
2 minutes.
2 minutes, okay. So we didn't impose policies, we listened, and we connected conservation with culture and tradition. And one day, just from a small movement, now we have more than 20,000 women who have joined as Hargila Army, from homemakers to be conservationists. And this is not about the Hargila Army, it's about their family, their husband, their children. So I would like to, so our work is an integration of science, culture, tradition, pride, and empowerment. And I think conservation is a package of all of that. So I'll just share a few things. So our work is not only about now conservation, it is a gender empowerment and social changes in the villages, and empowering thousands and thousands of villages. And I invite all of you to meet our women. So this is all our textiles. They are sold globally also. You can see, and yeah, so our women, yeah, and I believe that conservation is isolated if we don't integrate it with livelihood. And so this is a milestone that our Assamese traditional dress and the Hargila army is a part of many international museums now, and especially Natural History Museum in London. So I am very proud to mention about this, so thank you. So yeah, we work a lot with our youth. Sorry, I don't know how it happened. Oh yeah. Yeah, we have Hargila Learning Center in our village to work with the youth, with the children, and basically we work on the ecological memory so that our children can connect with their parents and the youths, and we train our youths on rescue and GPS, how to do GPS, restoration and all. So yeah, this is the Hargila Learning Center. Many youths can join us as intern or they can contribute a lot. I invite all of you, and this is the nest platform that we are doing to assist the breeding of the bird. And yeah, I'm just close to the end. So this is the rescue, and with the involvement of the youths of the communities, we have rescued and rehabilitated more than 500 chicks in the wild. And sometimes rescued bird is also a part of the story, comics. So we celebrate, for example, a young child saw the bird and called their parents. We celebrate it through a comic, and our communities really love it. And so this is like I already told, the nest numbers increase, the population increase, and this is only because of our communities. And one of the milestones that I want to share with you, that IUCN has downlisted, recently IUCN has downlisted the bird from endangered to near threatened, that I want to share with all of you. So at the last, thank you. At the last, I want to share that, yes, consistency is the key, and people believe in actions, not in words, and communities have the power to change the world. So thank you so much once again for inviting me, and yeah, for your kind listening, and be a part of our Hargila mission. Let's soar together. We all can soar high. Thank you so much, and tak, tak, tak.
Tak, tak, tak. Thank you, Dr. Meghna. Please come and join us. What a fantastic story to start this session. Please show your appreciation again for Dr. Meghna. That was very inspiring. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Purnima, for sharing your beautiful journey with the Hargila Army and how you were using this platform to conserve this magnificent bird, and how you are empowering our youth and also the women. And we also have such kind of impression about vulture, and now we have been conserving our vulture in our country as well. So we have a dedicated program for vulture conservation. Thank you. Now I'd like to request our second presenter, which is Dr. Soudamini, and she will be presenting about economic valuation of ecosystem services from the Simsang Basin, where Bangladesh is also one of the major part. And please welcome Dr. Soudamini Das, professor at the Indian Economic Services Section, Institute of Economic Growth, India. Dr. Das is an expert in environmental economics, valuation methods, and climate risk assessment. Dr. Das, could you please come? Thank you. And you have 10 minutes to present your ideas. Thank you.
A very good morning to all of you. Coming after Purnima's fantastic presentation, I think you are really going to be a little bored with my presentation, that is on numbers and economics. And thank you, Purnima, for such wonderful work. I also did a little bit of work for IUCN on vultures, measuring the ecosystem value of vultures. We got it published, and that's really doing rounds on the world. Now, you know, the Washington Post has highlighted that study. So I think IUCN's contribution in terms of economics and in terms of saving number by birds, and also trying to prioritize both taking multiple disciplines into account is wonderful. I think we also need to do something similar for your birds. I think wonderful. Thank you so much. So now, this is a study. Before I go into my studies, I just want to thank Professor Inamul Haq. He had been a part of the study from the day one, but because of his busy schedule, he just couldn't continue. And what I'm going to present before you is only on India. So when we started this study with Viswa, I think you have been a part of the study from the day one, and he's also co-author of the report. So we wanted to prioritize one ecosystem from India and one from Bangladesh. So we chose forest because I think more than 90% of the Simsang Basin in India is covered by forest, and water from Bangladesh. But because of Inamul Haq's busy schedule, we could not continue on water. So what I'm going to present before you is some numbers on the ecosystem benefit that the people from India side are getting from the river basin. So that's what. No, yeah. So now I think. Why should you do an economic evaluation? These are some of the things that I really want people to think about. Because when you have a number, that makes a very powerful statement. You can really say, you can make a comparison very easily. This is one. And then other is that this can also help you prioritize conservation, because you have different land uses, and when you put numbers into different land uses, I think then also the type of comparison becomes easier, and you can prioritize conservation. This is also something we use for informed land use planning and decision making. And there are many other economic schemes like payment for ecosystem services. So doing evaluation also facilitate the economic, provision of PES. And also this is something that helps in doing the cost benefit analysis. And the one which is very, very crucial is that this also accounts for the social cost, because sometimes society is also suffering and you don't account for those costs. When you do an evaluation, then you can account for the cost that society is bearing when the government is making a decision and people are being ignored. So this is also something which is making something which is invisible, makes it visible before the public, right? Now this is the Simsang Basin, and this is the part that I've highlighted, the one which I'm trying to study, which is a very small part of the basin. So the numbers you get is only for one part. I think that also can be scaled up. Okay. So now in this study, there are three things that I try to prioritize. One is that we try to identify and prioritize the ecosystem services, particularly forest-based ecosystem services, which are linked to the water. And then you demonstrate the methodology for economic evaluation, and then analyze how proposed developmental trajectory will impact the flow of ecosystem services and local communities under a different economic development scenario. So here I want to highlight that, okay, we have taken the Meghalaya development plan for 2030. And then you try to see if that plan is being implemented, how this flow of ecosystem services are going to be affected by that. So now, we have followed, I need not go much into details. As you can see here, we have followed a very complicated procedure to identify the ecosystem services, prioritize them, and also try to put a monetary number into those methods. So, and the highlight of our study was basically the Delphi type of a survey, the expert survey, which you did in the three districts, that is East Garo, West Garo, and South Garo districts of Meghalaya. And you have taken help from many of the experts who are over there, the academics, the decision makers, people who are there in the forest sector, etc. And using their opinion, we have tried to prioritize and also give values. Now, coming to I think this is something I also wanted to show you, because the region is witnessing forest loss. Though the data from Forest Survey of India is also giving the loss of the forest, but I think we had a more accurate assessment of the forest loss in the region from the Forest Wall Forest Survey. And you can see here that almost 10%, more than 10% of the forest are being lost per year. So which is a very, very high, strong number. And this is one region, the economic evaluation also makes sense. And this is something else also which is yet to be published. This is from the agricultural survey of the region. You can see here how this is only one little bit of data I could get on the South Garo district, how the land cover is changing. So you can see here the forest area under agriculture is increasing have increased by more than 500%, which is a very, very strong number. And of course, these numbers are coming, this land cover is changing from the forest. So if you get the data from the entire region, then I think it's really going to be very alarming. The way you are losing the forest and you are going for other land uses which can give you immediate benefit. Forest give you benefit, but these benefits are over the years. These are all the long-term benefits. But other land cover, they can give you, suppose agriculture, you get immediate benefit. But how much you gain and how much you lose from the forest is possible to see only when you do an economic evaluation. Now, so now in our study, what you do in the step 1, you try to develop a very comprehensive list of ecosystem services of forest and the rivers. And then you try to shortlist them based on the expert opinion using the interview with the experts. Then you did a literature search on the values. Next, we understand the effect of deforestation or changes in forest and land cover and land use changes on these ecosystem services using expert opinion. And last, we did evaluate the changes in benefit and cost due to land use, land cover changes on both sides of the border. But in fact, here we are not talking about both sides of the border. This is now focused mainly on the Indian side. Maybe in future, when Professor Inamul Haq can also get associated, we'll try to make a cross-country statement. Now, so these are the questions we had. We had a very small questionnaire, and these are the questions we asked, and Professor Walia is also there. He had been so helpful in doing the survey. So what we did, we enlisted the services, all the provisioning, regulating, cultural, as well as the supporting services on the left-hand side. And then we asked these 5 questions to people, whether the service is present in the basin or not. Are local people being benefited, yes or no? Then approximately what percentage of the population is being benefited. This was the third statement helped us in prioritizing. And then intensity of the use, whether in the recent years the use has been more intensified or less intensified. And we had these answers in high, moderate and low. And lastly, are any change in quality of the service over time, whether the quality of service have increased, decreased, or there has been no change. So this is how we try to make a
2 more minutes, please, Dr. Gadamini. 2 minutes.
Right? Then, so here we get to this number. So when you try to prioritize, you can see here the numbers, like on regulating services, we had 24 services listed. In provisioning, we had 20 services likewise. And then you can see here the most of these services are widely present in the basin. Almost everybody is dependent on that. And over the years, the service use has really not been intensified. Rather, there has been mild decrease in the intensity of the use. And coming to the quality, there has been a decrease, which is very, straightforward because the forest cover is going down. Then we try to do some also climate change sensitivity, whether the climate change is strongly impacting those regions or not. And you can see here, yes, it is impacting. And if you see the last statement, the landslides, almost everybody, 100% of the people whom we interviewed, they said, yes, the landslide has gone up, they are very regular and frequency has gone up, which is clearly being linked to the forest loss. Okay, then I think that's what. So this is how we got the values. I'm giving you little details over here because the values are generated through a method which is called the value transfer. So these are the last column tells you the places where these values were generated, and we transferred these values to the Meghalaya context by using a different methodology. One was, if it is an international study, we try to transfer it to India context, and then we transferred it for the same year, and then we did an intertemporal comparison by using the inflation parameters for the year 2024. So this is how we got the values for different services, and these are the priority. We prioritize some 14 services, and these are the values. And these are the next one gives you the value for, regulating and cultural and also the other services. So in total, if you see this number here, so we are getting the very high value, which is coming out to $7,984 per year per hectare of the forest. Okay? And if we extrapolate this value in the year 24, if we extrapolate like in a total, the area is having 3,52,604 hectares of forest, which is coming out to 2.8 billion per year, which is around 40% of the state gross domestic product of the state of Meghalaya, and this is only 3 districts. So as you can see here, though these values are not visible, people are not directly getting it, but they're indirectly getting it from the forest. Now what this statement tells you is that if you lose your forest, and the government will try to provide those benefits through their policy, through anthropogenic measures, this much the government has to spend. So that means you really cannot maintain the standard of living that people are enjoying from because of the forest if you destroy the forest, if you do not go for the conservation.
Thank you,
Just
Doctor.
2 more slides, I think I have.
Very quickly, very quickly.
Yeah. So now, then you are trying to say, hey, I think this slide maybe I need not highlight. Did I spend 10 minutes?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So now here again, what I say here, these are the type of forest loss. So for the area, and if you, net change in the forest cover is around 2,496 hectares per year, if you take the data from FSI, or 1,718 hectares if you take the Global Forest Watch, and that means you are on basis you are using this much of US dollar per annum because of the forest loss in those 3 districts. And then you take 2 different scenarios using the Meghalaya developmental plan into account, and that's what one is that we take a 3 net change in the area. So this 320 acres. Sorry. Can you go back? I'm sorry, this one is also eating my time. Yeah. So this 320 acres and the other one is 220 acres. This is the calculation we do for 1% increase in GDP. So that means that the way the government is trying to increase the GDP, the state gross domestic product, for every 1% increase in the state gross domestic product, that is 320 hectares of forest are being lost. So this is per percentage. So if you want to increase your GDP in the present rate of growth by 10%, then you will be losing 3,200 hectares per year. So this is numbers which tells you that you better change your developmental plans, make it pro-conservation, right? And then the other 2 slides that I had.
Thank you, Doctor.
Yeah. So they give you, this is the one that gives you one is the blue, business as usual climate change, the other one is extreme climate scenario. So in both the scenarios you can see how much forest you would be losing if you also take the climate change into account, and that also will lead to how much loss in GDP per year because of your developmental activities. So what it means is that the government really needs to take conservation into account. And that's also a big statement for the youth and the gender members in the society, because the forest is again a society ownership in the Garo Hills.
Fascinating. Thank you. Thank you so much. We're taking you on a wild journey in this panel from the heart to the head now with that analysis and figures. Please join us. Now we have another mystery for you. We have infiltrators among you on the floor. And Tarek is now going to identify them as we move to some of our next session.
Thank you, Doda, and thank you, Dr. Soudameni, for informing us about how important our ecosystem services in terms of Someshwari River, and it's 2.8 billion if you consider only in India. So thank you. Now I would like to move to our panel discussions. We have 4 respected discussants who will share their insights and experiences from across the Barak-Meghna region. I will now introduce them one by one and invite them to just stand up. Discussant first, Ms. Helena Talang, who came from Bangladesh, one of our Kashi community representative, and also project coordinator at Kaping Foundation. She has been involved in documenting traditional knowledge systems and advocating for indigenous-led conservations. Thank you. And now we have our Mr. Rangkul Sangma, Joint Secretary and Chief Forest Officer at the Garo Hills Autonomous District Council, Meghalaya, India. Mr. Sangma works on community forestry and biodiversity conservation in the Garo Hills region. Thank you. And now our third discussant is Mr. Muhammad Abu Saleh. He is joining online. He is a Rajshahi University and Engineering Technology graduate, and Mr. Saleh has been contributing to interdisciplinary water and ecosystem research. And lastly, our fourth discussant is Mr. Muhammad Sohel Rana, Associate Water Resources Officer at the Asian Development Bank, Bangladesh, Resident Mission. Mr. Rana brings policy and implementation experience in regional water projects. Now I'd like to hand over to Donna to facilitate this discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So a lot of food for thought, and now some more. So who has our roving? I'm going to put our infiltrators on the spot now with some questions. So let us start with Ms. Helena. Ms. Helena, as an Indigenous rights and women's organiser, what do you recommend to ensure Indigenous youth and women are central, not peripheral, in basin dialogues?
Thank you so much, Chair and audience and the other. I would especially to thank the organizer who involved me here. It is a great opportunity as a community person who is involved with the forest. So I would like to submit our recommendation in that sense that we the Khasi who are already come from the forest, so we totally depend on it, and it is very crucial now when we are talking about the climate change. But the Khasi are already, struggling with this to preserve their lands, their territories, where it means that fighting for the water management, for the sand management, for the forest, to restore the forest naturally. So my recommendation to this forum is that we have to ensure the participant from the community level and to implement what the forum is taking initiatives, so that they can consult with the local community what they are thinking about the forest, the land, the water, the sand, the stone, how to taking care of these things in the meaning of taking care of the natural resources. So my recommendation is that, and of course to ensure that FPIC, before doing something in the community level, or to ensure anything that taking initiatives. So we must ensure their first prior and informed consent. And with that, I would like to recommend in that sense that I think that the traditional knowledge, how we preserve the forest, the natural resources, it should be breathing with the scientific knowledge, so that we can find out the gap, how we naturally we do with our traditional knowledge, and how the scientific knowledge actually work. So I think that with breathing with that, so we can do a better world for the world. And another one thing I would like to mention here, that the capacity building for the youth who are from the local level, who play a vital role to preserve the nature, but they don't know actually, in that sense, they don't know that the scientific, how to do the documentation, or how to do better but they are doing best with their own responsibility in that sense. So I would like one more recommendation in that sense, that integrate our knowledge and with the policy makers. So I think that it is the highlight time that the forum should do advocacy paper so that we can advocate with the state level, national, regional, internationally. We can communicate, or we can come together to protect the nature and our resources. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Helena. Some really important points there. The importance of inclusion of Indigenous groups, the importance of the training and capacity development for youth, the importance of free, prior, informed consent, which we learn again and again. Thank you for those reminders. And Vishwa, there is a call for an advocacy statement from this forum. We need to do it. I'm going to turn now to Mr. Abu, our youth climate activist who is online. Are we able to see Abu on the screen?
Hello there, I'm Abu Saleh from Bangladesh. So
Hi,
good morning
Abu.
to everybody. Hello there, how are you?
Everybody wave to Abu. He's not able to be with us in person. Abu, we'd like to hear from you what innovative youth-led monitoring or research can be introduced in our beautiful basin.
Okay, thank you very much and good morning to everyone. I'm Abu Saleh from Bangladesh. I am a young researcher and a climate activist here. So the Meghna Basin is not just a river, it is alive. It provides millions of people water, food, transport, and livelihoods. But now it is facing worsening floods, riverbank erosion, and biodiversity loss. Here comes the role of youth action for the practical purpose. So as a youth peoples, we do not have all the resources, but we have creativity, connection with our communities, and the will to act. So today, I'm going to share 3 ideas that can make a difference in the Meghna Basin. First of all, the basin health monitoring using different parameters like water quality, pollution events, waste concentration, and so on. We can build a data bank for the further research of the basin. Secondly, menstrual hygiene monitoring during the flash floods for the female, because it is very compulsory for the female in the during the flash floods in the Meghna Basin. And the Meghna Basin faces frequent flash floods in different times of a year and in different years that we see in the previous history of Bangladesh. And lastly, we want to expand the climate education through campaigns, publications, workshops, so that the people can cope with the climate-induced hazards in the future and right now. So thank you very much for listening, and we can discuss more for the solutions for our future betterment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and we're so sorry you can't be with us in person. I'm now going to turn to Mr. Sohail. Mr. Sohail, you have a rather unique specialization and technical skill. So we would like to hear from you how remote sensing and GIS can be used to identify and address gender and youth-specific vulnerabilities in the Meghna Basin.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, IUCN, to invite me here to give me the opportunity to talk about on this Meghna Basin areas Knowledge Forum. Before going to your answer to your questions, let me give some idea what the brief about the ADB financing to the Bangladesh government in these river basin areas. So we know that this Meghna River Basin is a very complex basin. It covers the 2 countries' areas, where the India's part is the full of mountain and forest, while the Bangladesh part is flat compared to the India's part and full of coverage of howlands. But due to this complex situation, the basin is very much vulnerable to the climate aspects. And that's sorts of experience Bangladesh has already experienced in 2022. There was a severe flash flood in 2022 where the most of the, lots of damage are happened. And it was recorded that the rainfall what was occurred in that area, that was exceed the record of 122 years. So it damaged a lot. Lots of infrastructure was damaged. About 7.2 million people were affected, of which 50% was women and girls. Around 10% was the children. More than 200-kilometer rural road network was fully damaged. 110-kilometer flood protection embankment, 250-kilometer submergible road was severely damaged. Thousands of latrines and tube wells were totally washed out. The cropland was, a large amount of cropland was also damaged. And the loss of crop production is more than 600,000 metric tons. So based on this devastating situation, government requested ADB to give the financing to rehabilitate of these damaged infrastructures. And after that, in 2023, ADB took a project in that area, Meghna Basin areas, that is covering the 7 districts of the Sylhet region. And now ADB is financing 250 million emergency financing to rehabilitate of these damaged infrastructures. And during this implementation, we are considering about the climate adaptive approach, nature-based solution, build back better approach, so that this rehabilitation works can be more sustainable. And the livelihood recovery is being ensured by promoting the climate-smart agriculture technology, where especially the women and youths are given priority to adopt this technology. And under this project, we have also one component, that is the enhancement of the existing flood forecasting systems. In Bangladesh, under the Bangladesh Water Development Board, there is a flood forecasting systems. And however, at the present situation, their lead time to forecasting the early first flood is only 3 days. So we are planning to increase this lead time 3 days to 7 days, so that the farmers can get ample time to harvest their crops if any flash flood comes earlier. So regarding these things, we are giving the financing to the government. And here the multiple agencies are doing of these activities: Bangladesh Water Development Board, Local Government Engineering Department, Department of Public Health Engineering, and Department of Agriculture Extension. These are the executing agency, those who are implementing of these projects. And apart from these ongoing financing facilities, we are also planning to take projects in the Haur area, that is the integrated conservation Haur. Integrated Haur area conservation. And we see from the last 2-3 days that the number of projects are going in the Haur area, but which is a piecemeal basis. So ADB is preferred to do a comprehensive approach or the holistic approach Haur area conservation activities. So for this region, at initial stage, we have kept 100 million budget to do the comprehensive Haur area conservation in that area. However, it can be increased if required. So based on these things, we have already consulted with our government counterpart. We discussed with the Ministry of Environment, Forest, Agriculture, Environment, Forest, Climate Change, Bangladesh Water Development Board, Forest Department to come up with a comprehensive project so that we can take a holistic approach projects. And we think that to implement these projects in the Haur area, the youth and women can be focused more, because they have the knowledge, they have the local, unique local knowledge, they have energy, motivation to do some things. So youth can be involved in the planning and implementation of these projects. And as the youth has the power, they have the technology, they can use the GIS and remote sensing technology as well. So the participatory GIS is a good approach where the youth can directly communicate with the community. They can discuss with the community peoples and do the preparatory works, the flooding maps, and also the situational analysis using these digital tools. So I believe that with the involving of the young youth, young scientists, academia, youth activists, these activities in the Howrah area would be much more sustainable if we engage all types of peoples.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you so much, and thank you for encouraging that role for our young climate activists and scientists. That's wonderful. Now, Mr. Ranku, you're on, as a forest officer, you are on the front line for us. Please stand up and tell us what role can Indigenous youth and women play in the forest river ecosystem linkages.
Thank you. I think I'll answer the question with a very short story about my tribe.
Lovely.
So I belong to one of the few tribes in the world, the remaining tribes in the world that still follow the matrilineal system.
I think that deserves a round of applause from everyone.
So in our system, we hold women, our mothers, our sisters, in a very high pedestal. All our forests, all our land, all our properties are placed in the care, in the name of our mothers, of our sisters. So there is no question about engagement. There will be questions if they are not engaged in the ownership, in the activities. So they are always placed at a very high level, and their involvement in the management of forests, land, any other activities of the village, they are always included. In fact, we are included. They are in charge. So men are always included. They have everything, they hold all the properties, they have all the ownership. So when we men leave our homes, we leave with nothing except in our birthday suit. And yesterday, I think someone mentioned about culture. In today's context, culture is very important. Madam, thank you for mentioning oral tradition as well in your opening speech. Because nature and conservation are a very sacred component of our culture, especially tribal culture. Everything is to do with nature. All our, the Garo tribe, let me just in brief explain about how we got about our name. We are generally known as the Garos, but we call ourselves the Achaks. The Garos were given by the British during their rule, and it came from the name of our angel goddess, Maambi, Garuja Mandeja. In short, we came to be known as Garos. But we call ourselves the Achaks. Why? In a nutshell, we believe that we migrated from Siberia. And that's the oral tradition. That is why, which is still so important in our culture. Through these oral traditions, we come to know. The word Chabaria, Asong Chabaria, now current day Siberia. Op Surima, the Op River. Surima means glacier. We chant these words in our rites and rituals still today. That is how we come to know about our roots, our history. And the angels, along with the gods, along with his angels, led us from Siberia to our homeland that we currently call Garo Hills. And when the angels said that now I have brought you here to the hills, to the rivers, you have to promise me, because I will return from here. You have to promise me that you will the mountains, the hills, the rivers, which is now your home. Our ancestors made a promise that yes, We will not move away from here. We will be here. We will look after our whatever you have led us to. And we bit the soil and made them this promise to the gods, to the angels. Achuk means bite soil. So that's how our names came to be. So I think in today's context, culture should always be included in terms of conservation, in terms of nature, in terms of livelihoods. We must remember, because all our mountains are in the names of, having the names of our gods, our angels. Balbhakram is Jangra. Jangra is a very powerful god. Waimong, another important catchment, is also another powerful god. So when our mountains and rivers are named in the name of gods, how dare we destroy? So this is the importance of culture. And women and the youth have been playing a very important role in conservation, in nature-based solutions nowadays, because we have so many avenues now. Tourism is one of the very big opportunities. So they are leading the way. Homestays are being looked after by our mothers, our sisters, the youth. But there are more avenues, many more opportunities in nature, like medicinal plants, spices. So these things need to be explored more. But I think the key is that we must always relate conservation and nature with culture. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ranku. We can feel your passion, and thank you for introducing us to a different worldview and how that can help to protect and care for the environment. We have 15 minutes left now for questions from the floor and interventions. You can address any of our panelists. You can add your own point of view. And I know Professor Brinda would like to make an intervention while the rest of you are thinking. Yes, we will come. Could we have our roving mic back?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
It's okay, you can use that.
Thank you.
You can see that.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Chairperson, for giving me this opportunity. And I would like to congratulate IUCN for organizing such a wonderful event on the Meghna River Basin. I think this is very much needed at this point of time, looking into how we are exploiting the river and also the ecosystem. So I come from Meghalaya, from Nehu, Shillong, and I also bring my greetings from Shillong to everyone. And I would like to say, in fact, just like how Mr. Sangma pointed out, I too belong from the matrilineal society. And it is very true that, in our place, the women play a very important role. And in all aspects, in conservation, and especially we are very much traditional in our role. And we believe in the traditional aspects. We have the traditional medicine, we have the agro, we talked about tourism yesterday, and all kind of aspects, especially, and also the water conservation. So we do also believe, if you see our ancient tradition, we have the sacred groves in Meghalaya, where we have the traditional forest. And the community, especially the women community, they conserve the forest. And there we have all kind of medicinal plants, all kind of, even the trees which has, they are not extinct, they are there. So looking into this only, we can make out that, it has been carried on as a tradition and culture, and we still follow it. And another very important aspect is that we also protect the water.
Now in Jaintia Hills, if you see, we have the bamboo pipes from the olden times. We do not just wait for the water pipes for the government to fix up. The community has the bamboo pipes, and from there the water is taken from the natural water from the resources. It's going to the houses of the people. So likewise, there are many other aspects. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you for that reinforcement.
Sorry, I'm making intervention every time, but it's not very known. I am also the National Coordinator of Save Indigenous Environment Movement in Bangladesh. I want to add one thing with Helena Talang, which is the Khashi indigenous community in entire Sylhet region. Their livelihood is to cultivate betel leaf. So they actually keep the trees in the hills because they want to protect naturally. But you know, over the course of time, after 30 years, 40 years, the logs are big now. So there are many kinds of interest entering into ruin their villages. Not necessarily only some of the gaps between the forest department and Khasi indigenous communities. We need to also work on that as we can mitigate the gap between them. Another one is the tea gardens are there in that area, Sylhet. So in the name of tea garden expansion, they are also entering there because when the tea gardens were leased out, existence were not recognized in the documents. But there are a study or an inquiry done by the Ershad regime and military actually recognized that that was not in the document. So I don't want to go into detail, but there are things to do because the denoted trees are actually the result of the lack of water in the choras, the streams and creeks. And that's the basically destruction to the Haor, in Hakkaluki, Bakkabil, and many other places in Sylhet region. So we need to work there. And I will be very brief on brothers' disappointment about calling them Garo, not Azak, but I think we are responsible for that as well. As for example, you are telling yourself tribe, where we are proud to tell you indigenous community. So we need to all work out how we can make it collectively better. Thank you.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to make a question. This is Ishrat Sadmin, Deputy Secretary, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change of Bangladesh. I am giving thanks to Purnima Devi, and after her presentation, I am thinking herself as a real Hargil, and also myself. From Purnima Devi's presentation, it was clear that she is working hard to conserve the Hargil, and awareness program is the base program of that part. I want to make a question to Purnima Devi. What type of assistance have you got from your government to make the awareness and also for your surrounding work? And is there any problem for engaging the women in this type of work? Thank you very much.
So thank you so much, madam, for your appreciation and for your kind words, and yes, and also for the question. Yeah, so I might have missed many things in my presentation because of the time constraint, but yes, we work very closely with government and with the policy makers, all the stakeholders, and especially when we work in, our movement started from one district and now it has expanded to many other districts. And so when we started our work in Kamrup district, we work very closely with the district collector, the deputy commissioner, and police. Police is an Kamrup district police is an integral part of our conservation. They keep coming to our rescue. They send a vehicle for us for rescue, and also I was talking to sir, yes sir, so that like this is also one of our strategy, very positive strategy, how we write to them, we invite police, please come to our our bird release program, baby bird release program. I, out of passion or yeah, just as a maybe fun or whatever you take, I want to share one of the police superintendent police, SP sir. He told that when I went with my team and I went to invite him, he said that Purnima, people come here for thief and for the robbery and all the cases, and you are the one, you all are the one, you came to invite us for the baby bird release. Then I said that yes sir, it is your responsibility also, and this way we invite them, we involve them, and Assam Forest Department is also one of our crucial part. With them we rescue and rehabilitate. And so why I'm mentioning about the police role, so because yesterday also, and yeah, these days many people from Bangladesh told that they want to replicate this model, and we get this question all the time in Assam or India or many parts of the world. People want to replicate this model, people want to do MOU for training and all. That's why I want to share with you that yes, please, it's so important to feed with the data to government, to the policymakers, to involve them. It is very important part. And why I'm sharing, like for example, when we are working with communities and police, district administration keep coming as maybe as conservationists or as a community member, our communities feel so proud that because of our trees, we have our district administration, we have our police with us. So yes, so we work very closely with them. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I have a free microphone. Who has a question or intervention for our panel? Mr. Abu, you've been very patient and quiet online. Do you have something you would like to add?
So my question is for Das ma'am. So while just a basic understanding, so I also have studied wetland ecosystem services and the economic valuation, where I understood the method that you have followed. Your third objective was very interesting to me. So I would like to know if you really, suppose if I want to replicate it for wetlands, after having the economic valuation of the different provisioning ecosystem services or any other ecosystem services, what would be your suggestion and how it might vary from a forest ecosystem to a wetland ecosystem? Thank you.
Thank you so much. The methods, the techniques are very similar to different ecosystems.
So
I've done it for the forest. You can also use similar approach for water as well. But the values will be different, because you see these values are mostly all anthropogenic. Though we did not generate these values, but they were generated somewhere else, and we have transferred those values to the Meghalaya context. To generate each value, you need something like 2 years of effort. It's a very complicated, tedious process to generate economic values. So that is why you don't encourage that for every and each area, you should go for the original valuation. But if you have the numbers, if you have the deflators, and if you can really take into account the prices and the per capita income of different regions, then value transfer is also very scientific, and that is also accepted in the scientific literature, also in the government. So this is where. So you can easily do these values, and you can easily transfer, use such type of methods for water services. But only thing that you have to find out what are the priority services in the water sector. Like we had some 24 provisioning services, 22 regulating services, we identified. And then based on the survey from the region, we try to prioritize which are the most important ones benefiting people in that area, right? So, and based on those identification, we try to get values. So you have to do a similar exercise. So maybe you can list out all the values in the water sector and then see which are the priority ones in the region that you are trying to study. Okay, once you prioritize, then you can use the value transfer. And a standard approach, standard methods available everywhere, but of course, it needs a lot of time and a lot of intensity to do it, and in hours of computer work. But this can be easily done.
Yeah, I have just a clarification, one clarification, which was something very interesting, that you said that agricultural activities have gone up 500% in Garo Hills, South Garo Hills, you said.
One block.
In one block. Okay, let's take it in one block itself. But what kind of agriculture you are talking about there?
Sorry, what kind of?
Agriculture is that which is expanding so much over there.
No, so that is
So,
the second
so
layer,
my
yes.
confusion is it, are you referring to shifting cultivation, or it is the mining which is actually a reason for so much of deforestation is taking place? That's very important. Thank you.
You want to answer? Because he's also a part of the, authors.
No, but you can tell,
Yeah.
ma'am.
In fact, this data that you are here, we got it from Dr. Sangma's office, but this is yet to be published. But what it says, the agricultural land holding and area under agriculture has increased by this many percentage in this particular block, which is very close to the river, the Samsung River. So that was a bit alarming. That, okay, now what type of, and I think it's not shifting agriculture, I think it's the primary agriculture. I'm not very familiar because that details are yet to be published. So maybe Biswa or Dr. Sangma
We have here,
One thing I just want to clarify. If it is agriculture, then it is temporary. It cannot be as a permanent change. Because in 2-3 years' time, it becomes forest.
And this is also not very clear from the report, because this is a change from 11-12 till 21-22. So within 10 years, 500% increase is a bit too much. But whether shifting or permanent agriculture, that I'm not able to say
just
now.
one block, no?
Yeah, please.
One block can change here. Yes, I think Dr. Walia has been one of the, because we use the analysis which was provided.
Yeah,
Last one.
Just to add up
Okay.
in a minute. Actually, the river is evolving, dynamic river, it is shifting the course. And as it shifts the course, it is seen that it is deepening and it is releasing lot of area which has got potential for agriculture, and that's what is the settled agriculture. It is not the zooming and all. In 10 years' time, the shifting has taken because of neotectonic activities in that region. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much. Great questions and great responses. We're going to hear now from our co-chair, Sakib, who's going to try and pull some key points out of that very rich presentations and very rich interventions and questions.
Thank you very much for the session, and thank you, my chair, to give me the platform. I want to say that this is very interesting session, the youth and gender inclusion in this plenary. But it is very much interesting. There's several issues already in the platform. You see that at first I could say the iconic representation of the Purnima Devi Burman. She is the iconic representation is like that. Is the story of conflict to the coexistence of the nature. I could say that. She is the champion. And she could be icon for the potential of this platform here. So, I could clap him for this. Oh, yeah. That's it. Tak, 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 tak. That's it. But there is also interesting point that she include youth as well as the women in this community, in the Hargila army, which is very much positive in this perspective. And it is very representative for the both Bangladesh and India, as well for the conservation. After that, in the perspective of economic valuation, as my background from like that environmental economics, I am very much interested in this topic. I already shared with my view with Dr. Shodhamini, madam. So, and also the Vishada. It is very much important for the forest coverage. Not only for that, as I am the person from the National River Conservation Commission, I think that it is very much important for the river and also other perspective. So already a question already asked here, which was in my mind, but it is very much important to integrate ecosystem management. And it is an important decision-making tool, and which could be used for the youth and gender perspective also. And after that, here is, we could say that it is used to correct the cost-benefit analysis and inform land use pattern also here. And from the perspective of the discussion panel, Ms. Helena, Mr. Abu, and also Mr. Ronku, Mr. Sohel, they played very much important role here. For the conservation of the indigenous community to the perspective, every part is important. Here, Ms. Helena said that to consult with the local community and also the bridging the traditional knowledge and scientific knowledge is very much important. And accordingly, the capacity building of the local people is very much important for the conservation part. And the scientific documentation is the necessary for this reason. And Mr. Abu is very precise in several points that role of practical action with creativity. Monitoring the water quality and monitoring the flash flood frequency and the climate education is very much in need for this region. Mr. Sohel precisely developed about the ADB's funding, which is already doing in the Bangladesh perspective. So the rehabilitation damaging infrastructure and also the enhancing the flood forecasting system is very much mandatory for this perspective. But also, indeed, to include the youth and the gender inclusion could be improve the capacity building of the local people and the local generation here. After we said that the integrated Haur area conservation is very much important and it is urgent need to develop the management. And for Mr. Ronku Sagma, what I could say that earlier I already heard about that and also made another session. He's from the community, is spiritually tied to the forest, water and the landscape. So he already shared his view about their community, already holds the high position for the mother-centric community. And also they shared the youth and the women in the top priority, and also their focus on the conservation of environment. And then they are spiritually tied about that. So from his views and his community's view, we could focus on that, how could we manage it is culturally tied for our development. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And that's it, folks. I hope you've been inspired, intrigued, and that this will lead to more conversations. I think we now go to a break, but please let's tuck for all of our panelists. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.